Good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:15. Please join us for the pledge. So we're going to start off with correspondence tonight, and I have a card that was sent by Diana Gray, who was a nurse in the school for 25 plus years. And I'm going to read her card. To the Tri Valley Board of Education, I apologize for the delay in this thanking you note since my retirement. I want the Tri Valley School Board to know how much I have appreciated your support of the nurses department during my many years as your school nurse. I know in my heart that every board member has always had the best interest for our students, staff, and taxpayers, parentheses, community members, as their first priority. Thank you all. Thank you to all of the board members during my years at Tri Valley. I have enjoyed being your school nurse for years, and I thank you for allowing me to take care of our students, staff, community members during my time at Tri Valley Central School District as your school nurse. God bless you all today and every day. Tri Valley has many, many teachers and staff members that want only the best for Tri Valley School District. I have had the privilege of working with the best during my years at Tri Valley. Thank you all. God bless you for the job that you are doing and continue to do. God bless Diana Gray. Thank you, Diana. I'm going to move on to item number 5, which is public comment session for items that are on tonight's agenda. I don't have anyone signed up, so we'll move to item number 6, which is presentation and guests. And we have 2 things going on tonight. A is going to be presentation of Regents data from 2022 to 2023 by our assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, Mr. Frank Snyder, and secondary school principal, Amanda Eberly. Welcome.
So humanities is our ELA, our global and US history scores. These are averages, so we have about 61 children who take those exams. The average score is about an 82 for passing, and failure rate is about 18%. For math, on the Algebra 1, geometry, and algebra 2 tests. We average about 48 total students with a pass rate of 69 and a fail rate of 30.5%. We'll take a look at this later on in a targeted area. We are also going to talk about some immediate solutions we are implementing based on the data in our short time here. And for science, we average about 42 students with an 83% pass rate and about a 17% failure rate. And that includes living environment, earth science, physics, and chemistry. So these are broken down. We'll talk about there are some exams where we do not have a lot of students taking them, and we are talking about steps to help do that. If you could see, physics in the middle has a 93% pass rate, but we only have one class of students taking that. So we'll be taking measures with guidance to help implement kids taking more rigorous science classes as they progress through our program. As you could see, our ELA is at 68%. We really would like to see that increase significantly, as that is a requirement to graduate. We're trying to remove any barriers of students not graduating. Global is doing very well at the moment. It's 90%. We have some appeals, which we'll discuss on the next slide of what that will look like. US history, 87% pass rate. Chemistry is an 84% pass rate. Again, a low number, about half the students are taking that in a typical class. Earth science is about 90, 48, so that's a little higher, closer, but still not everyone is taking that score. Living environment, which at 73, everyone is taking. You can see we have a 67% pass rate as one of the regions that we would like to see all the children pass so they can move forward. Algebra 1, another one of the tests usually required out of the math sequence where students do pass to find success, 73% pass rate. Geometry, which we'll see, has a 46% pass rate. And we'll talk about our immediate actions to that one, as it is a very high outlier. And Algebra 2, which had 27 students take it, had a 89% pass rate. So some of our classes have very good rates if you look overall, but then we have some that stand out of needing some assistance and help, and we're going to talk on the next slide about some of those. So as of right now, we have appeals. There's a COVID appeal for students who need some help based on COVID and circumstances the state has put out there. So we have 37 appeals that are going out. So those numbers for current pass rate will go up once we get approvals from the state. Currently this summer, we have 31 students retaking Regents. So for math, we all saw geometry. We worked, Amanda and I, in guidance to add geometry labs as an additional support. Amanda and I are working on what the actual criteria is going to look like for that lab, how Regents prep is. And we are meeting with different math consultants to try to figure out how do we better train our teachers to help our students find success. We met with one consultant this week. We have another meeting next week, and we're going to make some decisions on which ones can provide us the most targeted interventions that will affect our kids immediately. That's the immediate. We're going to then take a look at alignment to standards in the curriculum maps and eventually go backwards to see where this geometry gap or algebra gap is occurring so we can address it hopefully before high school. And I'm going to pass it over to Amanda.
We're going to now move forward to our absentee data. So this is your general overview. This was from September to June. It's broken down by our grade levels 7 through 12, our total enrollment per grade level, and then the total number of absences in each of those grade levels. Your percentage rate there is your percentage that were attending that year. So this is September through June, and then I'm going to break it down a little bit further for you. So your overall percentage of students coming to school in attendance is 90%. This is broken down to your number of students per grade level per month. So you can really see some of the outliers here, and you can see what months those are occurring. We are also able to break it down by day, and that is helping us move forward with some immediate interactions and what we can do to start looking out of our attendance and raising these levels. We broke it down again a little bit further per grade level, and then what you're seeing here is students with 20 or more absences per those grade levels. So as you can see, as you kind of get up into those upper grades in grade 12, you're kind of teetering on even, which is really representing that our grade 12 students could be leaving early or missing some core academics and really the buy-in there. So we moved forward with this data to some of our immediate interventions. So reconnecting our students and families and how we can create these student buy-in and bring them back to the core of academics and the importance of being in school. So we've looked at a couple of different incentive programs to really address immediately some ways that we can get our students to want to be here and want to be a part of all of their day and not leaving early and things like that. Community schools is playing a huge piece in this and really getting the community involved in the community buy-in piece and involving our families and our students and bringing us all back together. And they're doing a fantastic job. And this Bear Bash coming up, we're really excited about it. And we're hoping that this is also going to help create more relationships and more interactions. Establishing some resources as well. Looking into our extracurriculars, our after-school clubs, how can we reach those students that aren't participating and maybe not involved in sports or our great theater programs, and what other outreaches we can provide for these students that we're not touching to give them more of that buy-in and wanting to be here. Moving along to our behavioral data. This is your breakdown from September to June, looking at each referral piece that we've that was implemented in 2022-2023 school year. So total numbers on these, there was 1,981 total referrals given last year, broken down into the different categories. This is with an enrollment of 457 students. So you can really see top to bottom where our majority are. Moving through to our immediate interventions that we're going to be putting in place as we move forward and really kind of reconcile how to help and provide that support that is needed. So we're reallocating resources to better meet our current discipline protocols, really taking a step and looking at the whole student and their support and what is needed to our teachers, our staff, and faculty that are interacting with them as well. We've been researching and we met with our professional development team to really kind of hone in on some things that we can do right now and provide for them to give them the support so we can help, again, see that whole child picture. So some things that are coming down the pipeline are trauma-informed practices, a behavior matrix, which will really establish for everyone the consistency across the board on how we're going to address different behaviors. And also our restorative practices, really looking at and highlighting those students that maybe are getting the same referral over and over again, and how can we now address this and really fix and work with them to solve our problems in that area. We also, moving right along to an assistant principal with more trauma-informed perspective, and we are hopeful that this will also improve some of these numbers and giving us and our teachers the support that they need to reach all of these students and work on them. And we'll move on to that later on this evening. At this point, does anyone have any questions for us?
I have a couple questions. If you could go back to the math slide or the regents with all the three maths in a row. When you have algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, is that the order that they're typically taken?
Yes, it should go that way.
That should go.
That's
Okay.
typically how they go.
The failure rate in the geometry is really shocking. What did the classroom averages look like? Were these kids, doing, really well the whole year, and then they tanked the regions? Or is this were the kids struggling all year? Just curious.
It about levels out to what the results would be on the geometry
Okay.
region.
Okay.
The numbers are pretty level playing.
Good to know. Thank you.
I have a question. Those who are retaking the Regents in August, are they being offered extra tutoring or anything over the summer?
So we've implemented the week before. They're coming in for review sessions. We have some fabulous teachers that are set up to come in and have coming in on their summertime to make sure that these students are well prepared. Also, our summer school program is running for geometry and algebra, and they've been working all summer, and most of those students are retaking the exams as well. August 2023 is the last time that the appeal process, the special appeal process for the COVID exemptions is happening. So it's really encouraging that we can help these students bridge those gaps. There's support happening and reach out happening.
I have a question, if I may. In reference to the behavioral data, what grades is that? Is that the whole school
Nope.
included,
So this is just 7 through 12.
7 through 12? In the first 7 items, what, if there was an acceptable level, what would be one in the numbers?
It would be complicated. We'd have to break it down a lot. Because it's a general category, there could be a lot that falls into that. The insubordination and disrespect, it branches a large overview of behavioral data. And we've been really fingering and piecing through that in the last couple of weeks. So it would really depend on the circumstances and supports there. Obviously, lower levels are definitely what is wanted. It is alarming that there are a total of 1,900, a little over 1,900, because you're looking at students being pulled out of classrooms for this, teachers not being able to do teaching. But generally, yes, this is a high number.
In looking at the first 7 categories, very disturbing. That obviously has an effect on what the kids have learned over the year.
And that's why this is important. And we're really looking at some of these immediate interactions and what we can do right now to fix this. I'm really hopeful moving forward, the consistency and being able to provide that immediate support, really kind of changing our lenses and digging down deep and seeing what we can do right now to better this and move forward. And I'm hopeful that we're going to see some changes in these numbers.
Without the discipline, how can teachers teach and the kids learn? I think that's a priority.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Certainly an eye opener.
Anyone else?
Just one other question. Sorry. All these different categories are referrals. What does a referral mean? When a kid gets a referral, what is that? They're just going to the office.
So in past practice, I mean, speaking from being new, yes. So they would be leaving the classroom at this point. So a lot of this is missed teaching time. It's missed academic time. And you could probably attest to this going down the pipeline, looking at our scores. That's a lot of time to be missing and being pulled out in the process of it all. And really looking at that and giving those more restorative pieces will help with that, to give teachers the behavior management tools that they need and they can assist right in their classroom so time is not missed and students aren't missing those classes. Because it is a process. As soon as a referral goes through, they might be leaving class, cutting class, creating a disturbance. It's stopping learning time. And that is something that is crucial and will be immediate fixes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I just want to say I appreciate you taking the time to bring this to us. It certainly gives us a lot to think about moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Please, if you have anything to add over the years, please advise the superintendent, because we need to get this under control. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move to item 6B, is the presentation by the Director of Technology, Mr. Aaron Butler.
Didn't turn on the mic myself. I can never blame any of you for doing that now. So I wanted to tonight to share with all of you a little bit of an overview of the tech department, who we have in there, what we're each responsible for, as well as a little glimpse into what we take care of on a daily basis. And then finally go into a little bit of an overview of the projects that we have planned for the coming year. So I'll start with a department overview. We have myself as the Director of Technology. I also serve as the school's data privacy officer. In that role, I'm responsible for general department oversight, project planning, information security and privacy, which is a major component of what I do. The technology initiative, so really kind of setting the vision for where we're going with our technology on the software, hardware side, and tech support and training. So that a lot of that involves acting as an upper level tech support for our technicians. So when there's something that goes beyond their technical know-how, they can come to me, and we'll often use those as training opportunities as well. We have a shared administrative assistant position, which is shared with buildings and grounds. And we have 4 land techs who are kind of the face of the department to the majority of our staff and teachers. They provide end user support, endpoint support, which includes all of our computers, our Chromebooks, instructional displays, such as the one we're using here, our phones, and I could have put about 5 extra et ceteras on there because the range of equipment and technology that we support is extensive. They also take care of general account creation and maintenance, making sure that people have the rights that they need, their accounts are created on time, that when somebody leaves, they don't have rights to things months after they leave, that type of thing. And they provide back-end system support. So their roles actually extend even beyond what a lot of land techs often take care of. And a lot of that's due to the level of responsibility and knowledge that they all have. So a lot of the first line of support for Wi-Fi, our web filters, our phone system and security, our technicians handle well. And I really can't speak highly enough of our land techs. We have just a terrific crew, both on their level of technical knowledge as well as just as human beings. They're a wonderful group, and they do a terrific job. So I'll step now to our daily activity. So behind the scenes, and much of this is invisible to our teachers and our staff, and when we're doing our jobs well, it should remain invisible. We take care of 352 computers, including laptops, 1,294 Chromebooks and 113 Chromeboxes, 115 instructional displays, 45 printers, 230 phones, 125 wireless access points, 30 servers and 5 storage devices, and an estimated 40 miles of Ethernet cable. So, just that. All of which can keep us very, very busy without anything happening or any project. So, and kind of reflective of that, the number of help desk tickets that our team closed during the 2022-2023 school year was 435 tickets. So if you divide that out onto the number of school days and look at just how busy they are just with, and most of those are kind of a break fix type of thing that the staff will put in tickets for, and as a general rule, those are closed out within 1 to 2 days of when the person puts them in requesting assistance. I also wanted to give you a little glimpse at our security landscape. So I talked about cybersecurity being a big part of what we're responsible for. Some of the statistics for 2023 so far. So the first 2 statistics are just from January 1st until now. We blocked 175,472 spam messages. 860 per day. And even with that volume, there's still, as everyone here can attest, there's still a decent amount that gets through. Of course, there's that fine line that we have to kind of walk between, if we get too aggressive with blocking spam, then we start blocking legitimate messages and disrupt business. Even more concerning are the virus attacks that we block at the perimeter. We blocked this year so far, 6,911 of them. That's 33.7 virus attacks per day. And just all it takes is just one of those getting through to potentially take the entire school down. Security incidents at the firewall. So this figure is actually in the past year. So this is the past 365 days. And when I say security incidents, I'm referring to actual probes from the outside, attempts by malicious actors to get into our school network. And that's 14,194 in the past year. On to slightly cheerier things. So for the 2023-2024 school year, some of the projects that we're looking forward to working on, and many of them already in progress. We're going to continue work on our EdLaw 2D compliance, and that involves a lot of different moving pieces, as well as working on our stance in regard to the NIST cybersecurity framework. We're working on increasing our asset and update management. We just implemented a new system that gives us excellent up-to-the-minute information on every hardware and software component that we have within our network. So if an attacker on the outside, there's a vulnerability that they're taking advantage of, and we're using that software, we're using that hardware, and a patch is out for that, we get notified immediately. So we can get those patched before those attackers start trying to exploit those vulnerabilities in our network. We're expanding our use of two-factor authentication. Our entire admin team and the business office all began using that last year, and we're expanding that to all of our teachers and staff this year. We're replacing aging assets, which is really a every year thing. I could have almost put this on our daily page, but every year we're looking at what PCs, laptops, and network hardware need replacing. And that's especially important. I've worked places before where that was not a priority, and the businesses allowed equipment to really get run into the ground, and they lost a lot of good people that way, because people who want to do their jobs well won't continue to work in an environment where they're being set up for failure. And I'm very proud of the fact that we do not do that here. We make sure that our teachers and staff are using equipment that is a tool that facilitates them doing their job instead of being an obstacle to them completing it. We're working with our partners to advance our Chromebook repair process to really streamline that, make it as cost-effective as possible. We're going to be replacing our power protection in our data center in the near future. We have a new visitor management system that is in place, and we're looking to potentially expand the use of that. We are making a change in the 7 through 12, the way that they're able to log into their Chromebooks. We have a one-to-one initiative where each student is assigned a Chromebook, but in the past, students could potentially switch Chromebooks, which gets really sticky at the end of the year when they're trying to return them in. So in order to kind of nip in the bud a lot of those problems, each student will only be able to log into the Chromebook that they were assigned. If somebody else picks up their Chromebook and tries to log into it, they won't be able to. We have a new TV studio, which is getting ready to launch, that we're very proud of, and our digital arts teacher, Chris Mackesy, as well as several of our techs, have been really instrumental in getting that ready to go. I'm really excited to see that come to fruition. That'll give our students some really amazing learning opportunities in digital media and streaming media and things like that that are very pertinent in today's world. We are expanding our training, making every year as the school year gets started, we provide a lot of training to the teachers and staff, and that's a lot being thrown at them all at once. So we're creating a video series where teachers will be able to go, I remember I got a training on that, but I don't remember the details. I don't remember how to do this. They'll be able to go to this page, look at videos we've pre-recorded, and in a quick 60-second video, 90-second video, get that information back without it slowing them down and have that information at their fingertips. And finally, I'm going to be doing a couple of parent and community trainings this summer, one to coincide with our 7th grade locker night, and a second one on a different day, focusing on a couple of topics for the parents, especially things related to Chromebooks and what we do as far as web filtering, concerns they may have around cybersecurity, with their students, with even in their homes, things like that, and give them the opportunities to ask questions around all of that. Any questions? Hopefully I didn't make anyone's eyes glaze over too bad.
I have a question, Aaron.
Yes.
So you mentioned the blocked virus attacks and security incidents. What
Yes.
about ones that have gotten through? Have there been any major security incidents?
We have not. I'm very proud to say we have a very multi-layered defense. I've in the past 5 years I've worked hard to make sure that we have multiple levels of defense and we're using best practices, and there's no such thing as a 100% secure network. So no matter what anyone does, unless you just shut everything off and turn out all of the lights, then nobody's going to get your data then, but you're also not going to conduct business. But we are much further ahead than most schools, than most businesses. And there's an analogy I like to use, kind of the three little pigs. You know, if they go from house to house with the attackers, they will probe various targets, and if they realize it's going to take them a year to try to get into a business, as opposed to they have 5 other targets that they can get into in a week, it's more cost efficient for them to go after the weaker target. So, you know, you're really kind of trying to make yourself as difficult of a target as possible. The things we've had of concern were email attacks that went through that where they attempted to spoof our superintendent's name, things like that, which none of our staff clicked through on those attacks, and we didn't test to see if they had tried, if they would have been blocked from accessing those. I suspect they would have, but obviously without going into a sandboxed environment, we didn't want to really test that theory out. But those are really, and occasionally you get a malicious web page that comes up trying to fool someone into calling tech support and those type of things, where it's not, the web page itself isn't really malicious, but it's trying to suck somebody into installing something on their computer. But again, none of those have ever gotten through for us. So. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Moving along to item number 7 is the superintendent's report from Erin Long.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your presentations tonight. Very, very informative. Good evening, Tri-Valley. We have a lot of things happening, and I hate to say it, but the month of July has blasted by us. So we're going to slow it down for August, I hope. Tonight, I would like to start with a small presentation. Last February, we hosted the Harlem Wizards at our district. We had 2 basketball games, and it was really well attended by our community. And as a result of the money that we profited, we plan to donate some funds to 2 of our organizations, our PTO and our TVTA Cares. So I am really proud to present a check to each for $1,194.50. So if you don't mind coming up, I will give you your check. Really, the success of that is because of Heather Bonnell and all she did to get things set up for us. Our summer construction is moving along very well. All of our asbestos abatement is complete, and now bathrooms are being put together around the building. If you've been up on the baseball field, you can see that Jesse Bell and his crew are creating a new dugout. They've got one almost completed, and they're starting the other. Those are beautiful. As Amanda mentioned earlier, next Wednesday, August 2nd, from 4 to 7 is our Bear Bash. It will be held across the street at our track. We will have some events here in our lower library. It's going to be fantastic. We have bounce houses, we've got food, we've got ice cream, we've got activities on our field, we have face painting, we've got cotton candy, music, all sorts of events. So it's going to be a wonderful day for all. And I do want to extend a thank you to our administrative team. In the last couple weeks, you've all been really working together and digging into our data and helping us be very solution focused. So I'm super excited about our 23-24 school year.
Thank you, Erin. Okay, moving to item number 8, the items that the board would like pulled from tonight's agenda. Anybody? Okay, moving to item 9, the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda and the recommended action, including the business portion?
Motion.
Motion by Pat.
Second.
By Rose. Second by Travis. Second by Travis. Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Yay.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved, the board approves the consent agenda, recommended action, including the business portion, items 9A through J. Moving to item 10, board committee reports. I don't think we have anything yet. We're scheduling a meeting soon, right? For the next meeting. Moving to item number 11, old business. Don't believe we have any old business to discuss today. And then we move to item number 12 is public comment session for items that are not on tonight's agenda. I have no one signed up. Item 13 is announcements, reminders, and upcoming events. Does anyone want to speak? Okay. Item 14 is new business. We have A, B, and C. So A is the NISBA Area 9 Director. It is an action. Can I have a motion to accept the new NISBA Area 9 Director?
Motion.
Motion by Tammy.
Second.
Second by George. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Yay.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved, the board nominates John T. Redmond of the Florida Union Free School District Board of Education as Area 9 Director of the New York State School Boards Association. So we're moving to item 14B, which is the appointment of a tenure track secondary school assistant principal. Can I have a motion to accept the appointment of the tenure track secondary school assistant principal?
Motion.
Motion by Rose. Second.
Second.
By Pat. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Yay.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved on the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools that the Board of Education at its July 27th, 2023 meeting approves the appointment of James Fantini to a 4-year probationary term as secondary school assistant principal in the tenure area of school building leader pending fingerprint clearance, provided that, except to the extent required by law, in order to grant tenure, you shall have received composite or overall annual professional performance review ratings pursuant to Education Law Section 3012C or Section 3012D of either effective or highly effective in at least 3 of the 4 preceding years. If you receive an ineffective composite or overall rating in the final year of the probationary period, you shall not be eligible for tenure at that time. Salary for the 2023-2024 school year will be $117,500 prorated. James Fantini holds a New York State initial certification in school building leader effective July 22, 2021 through August 31st, 2026. Welcome, Mr. Fantini. Okay, moving along to item 14C is the appointment of the tenure track guidance counselor. It is an action, and I have a motion to accept the appointment for the tenure track guidance.
So move.
Motion by George,
Second.
second by Tammy. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Yay.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools that at its July 27th, 2023 meeting, Board of Education approves the appointment of Lindsay Weber to a 4-year probationary term as guidance counselor pending fingerprint clearance in the tenure area, school counseling and guidance commencing to be determined, provided that, except to the extent required by law, in order to grant tenure, you shall have received composite or overall annual professional performance review ratings pursuant to Education Law 3012 or Section 3012D. That's 3012C or 3012D of either effective or highly effective in at least 3 of the 4 preceding years. And if you receive an ineffective composite or overall rating in the final year of the probationary period, you shall not be eligible for tenure at that time. Salary for the 2023-2024 school year will be at step 2, $54,967 as per the current TVTA contract. As per contract, additional salary for master's degree and credit hours will be reviewed for approval. Lindsay Weber holds a New York State provisional certification as a school counselor effective August 18th, 2022 through August 31st, 2027. Welcome, Lindsay Weber. Okay, we move to item number 15 is board comment session. Does anyone have anything tonight? George?
Yeah, if I would, please. I'd like to welcome all the new employees to Tri-Valley. And I'd like to wish Diana Gray a very well-earned retirement. She was always a class act. No matter what the issue was, she was always there for the kids and the faculty. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to move to item 16, which is adjournment. And we're going to start a public hearing as soon as we adjourn this meeting after a few minutes. So Norma gets set up. So can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Motion by Rose,
Second.
second by Tammy. Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Yay.
That is unanimous. Be it resolved, the board adjourned the meeting at 6:59 p.m. Thank you. Okay, good evening. We're going to call the public hearing meeting to order. It's for the public hearing for the District Safety Plan and Disaster Recovery Plan for 2023 to 2024. It is first reading, and we are going to open up the public comment. So if there's anyone from the public who wants to make a comment, buddy? Okay, how about board comments? Anyone from the board want to comment on the plan? You know, there were going to be a few name updates.
There will be some name updates, and then we have to attach our remote learning plan to our district safety plan, and we're in the process of finalizing.
Just give it a. Anybody else from the board?
How many people have been involved?
I think we have 12, maybe 14 people on the district safety committee.
Thank you.
Okay, can I have someone to make a motion to adjourn? Public hearing? Motion by Pat,
Second.
second by Tammy. Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Yay.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved, the board adjourned the public hearing at 7:04 p.m. Have a great night.